Hello and welcome. I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a program to compare tunes for similarity. We've come a long way. We've got a number of analyses and we've got some transformations. But what we're doing now is going back and trying to clean up the way our views work. I understand how to do it better. It's not perfect still, but one thing we can do is eliminate these variables. We had a lot of variables for every stage in the pipeline, and we've mostly gotten that owned by the pipeline instead of the view. Alrighty, so let's just run first. So yeah, we'll eliminate individual stage objects, improve view structure. We've been doing that as an ongoing thing, and then a few more down here around the pipeline. Okay, so we have the pipeline shows up in two places. One on the right here, it's the actual visualization of the pipeline showing the stages in order. You can select one or the other. That's this select one. Transformations, you can include any or all. You know, it's more of a checkbox kind of thing. And analyses, again, back to more of a choose one. Okay. And in ContentView, we used to have to pass around every stage. So there's 2, 4, 6, 7. So a lot of these things had 7 variables that they were working with because there was no unifying thing. Now we've defined the pipeline. Well, we had the pipeline around forever, but trying to get it to map to from a pipeline stage to a view is really painful. And we've done that somewhere. What was it? Select view. No, I forget the name. We'll run across it, I'm sure. Okay, it's definitely accessible from pipeline body. Okay. Yeah, so we've got stage view. This was a series of 7 if statements. If it's active, if the file input is active, do the file input. If the manual input's active, do that. If the quantizer is active, do that. Now that has been pushed into stage view. It still has to ask, like, what's your type? So from the sense of a stage, it wants to know the type. If it's stage file input, it makes a file input view. And we have a specific view corresponding to each stage because each stage has its own possible things. A filter asks for a selector and a string. Quantizer asks for a couple numbers. This one edits text. This one opens a file. There's no inherent reason for any of these to be the same. Okay, so instead what we're doing is we're mapping from the type to get down to, like, what's at the bottom level, what are you, so it can display you properly. Now, some of these do have a common class, the syncs. I'm not sure they should. There's still some differentiation within there, I think, but at least we're creating it, we're converting it to the right kind and going on from there. Now, I wonder, is this necessary? Let's go look at sync view. Okay, so I don't think we have to do it that way. Oh, look at this. We're going to come back to that. Okay, let me add that to the to-do. I want to do this in one place. I don't want to be doing it all over the place. So, okay. But we're focused first on content view. So content view, we have all these stages, but if I look and say who references this, I think it's only in one place. Yeah, it's only when you define the sources, transforms, and syncs. Okay. Now, well, we know that's the only one for file input. Okay, let's take that out. Okay, let's check tech. Oh, that was text input. Let's do file input. I'm not expecting anybody else to be referencing any of these, other than they're all talking in that one 3-line stretch there. Okay, good. And one more. Okay, so those are all the only place. I don't think there's any reason that we have to have that object like that. I think we could just create it directly in here. So text input is mail input stage. File input filter. Quantizer. We'll get them in there and then we'll verify that they work. I don't anticipate a problem, but I'm very good at not anticipating. I'm trying to really understand what's going on with these state objects and observed objects and all that stuff to make sure I really get how it's working. But I think we're okay with this. And this one. Okay, so my theory is this should just work. What do I know? Interesting. What does that mean? Okay, well, environment object settings changed. Okay, that one's being used. Let's take these out. This may be, I don't know. I'd love to understand how observed object works. Like this state object may be used by Swift UI to say this object owns this variable thing, but I really want pipeline. Maybe I can do that. What if I said state object var pipeline equals, and then let's just assign that right away. This is, none of these depend on the view. They're all model type objects. Okay. And we pass pipeline down. So yeah, maybe that was the issue, that pipeline was not, I don't know. I'm skeptical even of, as I say it. I mean, if pipeline was a created object being passed in, I don't see the issue. But maybe this is more of an update issue than anything. Do these do anything? No. I don't know what that square. Yeah, that just seems weird. Okay, let's see if this helps. Okay, I saw some motion there. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's go look at pipeline. Is he is observable object, but none of these, let's make these published. I think before we were always just accessing it from commands, and other things, the other things were changing, so they sort of triggered the change. But I mean, observable object that doesn't change is definitely weird. Okay, I saw the motion to go out, but it's still not right. Okay, maybe I'm just having a bad idea here. Process stages. Well, what changes these? Okay, the problem is, well, I think the problem is active on these stages is what was changing. All right, let's open up a stage. File and stage. Okay, I'm taking these out. He publishes that. Well, I don't know. Oh, it's up at the higher level. Never mind. Okay. Is active is managed here. All right, so is active. So if you're holding this thing and is active changes, then you need to modify. This has burned me before. It's kind of like I got a 2-level change that the is active flag, I want it to tell the pipeline that the pipeline has now changed, because what's active and what's not is a change that affects it. And then let it tell its observers, like, hey, I've changed. Now, the funny thing is active, I really think that should be managed by the pipeline, not the stage. It's kind of like not its business in a way. I mean, if it's in the pipeline, it's active. If it's not in the pipeline, it's not active, is how I would like it to be. So, but they do change. All right. So I don't know. This may be going down a weird path. This has been the week for that. What I've done, I think, in the past is I've made the equivalent of the pipeline object be the observer or the recipient of notifications from the individual stages, and then when they change, it says, "Oh, I've changed." Okay, so I don't want to. I really don't want to pass stuff around too much. Like in this case, I'm saying I have model objects observing model objects, and in a way that's not terrible, because you could have a very deep model, and not everybody needs to be talking to the UI to say, doesn't need to be monitored by the UI directly. I don't think. How is that going to go? So what would happen is I'd have a routine there to monitor published would monitor each individual stage, and the stages would notify it, and then it notifies the other. Okay. So now this, I think, is not quite right either. We're passing that settings changed around, so anybody down there can trigger a settings change that the overall system will redraw on. So if settings changes, we rerun the pipeline and toggle it off. And the odd thing is I don't want pipeline to know the specific things being given to it. It's just working with them. Okay, let's see if there's maybe I can find an example of the same kind of thing. So what I have is an array of mutable objects. Let's see what they come up with. A mutable strongly typed array in Swift. I don't think that's a Swift UI thing. Right. That's, did I say Swift UI? I did. Updating objects in an array of objects, Swift UI. That sounds like what I'm after. That's problematic. Unchanged value. Yeah, this is old. They kind of changed some of the words and stuff now. It's the right question. Now, if it were immutable, a struct like this, then yeah, that would show it. Yeah, observed object, that's what we got. Dollar not nodes. Well, I don't really care about them. Yeah, that stuff's not relevant. Bindings. Okay. Okay, let me make sure I understand this one. A list of node lists for each list of nodes. Right. I mean, that's okay. Yeah. Right. I don't think the issue is environment object. These are getting down into Swift, not Swift UI. That may be relevant. Stores mutable. Okay, maybe this is relevant. Okay, so let's try Swift. Can one observable object observe another one? Something like that. Finding value from observable. Nope. Oh, have I passed pipeline the right way? Okay, so pipeline, we've got it as a state object, but when it comes in, let's see how this is using it. Pipeline, okay, that's the same one. Let's look at pipeline selectors. Observed object pipeline. Okay, so that one's monitoring it. Nobody else is passing it in pipeline directly. Okay, and the other one is the tags, selectors. Where's that? Pipeline selectors take the pipeline. Let's make sure they declare it observed. Okay, that's fine. All right. I know it uses cancellables, and I could probably look up what we did. It was in the sort tables project last year before. It's not quite it. Let's make sure this one. It's static array. I don't think that's relevant. Array of strings, right? We want to get array of interesting things. Okay. Observable objects should be singletons? I don't think so. It's very hard to find out why things are not being changed. Okay. Observable object is cancelable. Might have two L's. I'm not sure that's a helpful article. This one might be. Observed object and rely on external state of truth. Yes. Okay, that's at least some description there. Encoding we don't care about. List with observable. Use container published this, yes. Okay, that's kind of where we are now. Okay, we subscribe to it. That's the question we have. How do you make a list update when the property of an object in the list changes, but not the list chain itself? That's almost exactly what we want to ask. UI. Yeah, sounds like it might be. Okay. Yeah, cancelables. Oh, two L's. Okay. We don't need debug. Okay. That's not how we'll need to do it, but there is a way to do it with that. Use observed object for switch UI. Okay. Use a subscriber like sync to observe changes. Published as a variable. Published as a rep value. Okay. Right, but okay. Go back. Yeah, this is the kind of thing we got to do. I really hate having each one of our guys do it. Observable equals foo. Right. This is definitely the sort of thing we do, but we have to keep a link. Oh yeah, we have to keep this variable. Submodel. Okay. Any kind of submodel object will change. Right. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is what I know to do. I mean, know in the sense that I can find it and redo it. So what you're doing is cancelable object is just kind of there to hold it so it doesn't just optimize out, I guess. So you assign this, you say, I want to modify, I'm a sync for modifications from the submodel. Okay, so submodel has an object will change, and you can sync declares you to be an observer of it. What do you do when it does change? Well, you mark your own object as will change is the kind of publisher, and you tell it to send. So that means the observers of you will be notified. I think that's how we'll do it. All right, well, let's keep that one around. And they've kind of done the same thing here. Cancelable. I don't know where they declared it, but aggregate will change. Now, main a collection of all observable objects. I guess my question is, do we have to do this for each item we contain, I guess? Okay. Yeah, it does the job automatically. Can I cancel? Okay, we won't Don't have to worry about that. Okay, I don't think that's helping us. That sounds like something I should just read. Self and cancelable using combine. Okay. And that's kind of, we don't have to do this, I don't think. Okay, we're not doing timers. Assigned to and $time. I don't think that's... Okay, well, it's probably interesting. Right. Do we need observed? Yes, you do, I think. Yeah, when somebody else uses it. Okay. All right, I think that's just displaying, or it's explaining something. Okay. That sounds like something different. Okay. I don't think that's necessarily the same kind of issue here. Okay. That looks like an article I should read later. This is the model I'm going to use. Some object will change .sync. Okay. I do think we saw one with a set. I feel like that may be what we have to do. Yeah, this one. Yeah, I think. Well, this is the kind of thing we want. If you have a local post value for the output, you can assign to directly with the connection. Int controller. Forwarded through. Oh, interesting. Oh, he's defined that. Right. It's cumbersome, requires manual collection of all observable objects. Yeah, that's the part I don't like. I don't know if this is worth getting rid of 7 lines in the main class there. But the reason I'm pushing it, I guess, a little bit more is I would like, at some point, I would like this to be more of a plus button and then give these things a little closing box for the filters. and create multiple, allow multiple ones to be created, in which case the list owned by the static list owned is not going to be enough. I want to clone these or use a factory or something to get more of them. Okay. But that merge sounded promising. Combine latest. Let's look at that. Okay, pipeline. So I guess I would loop over those here. Yeah. $int. What the heck? Self.string control equals .init. Okay. Who had the set? Where is that one? Right. This is the kind of thing. Well, this is one of these accumulating sites, but I definitely have done this sort of thing. I don't think I have to worry about receive. They're going to be on the main thread. Okay. Let's take this one. Cancelables. No. This one. All right. So this goes up there. And then import combine. Right. We'll change sync. Yeah, this is the kind of thing I've done. Append. Okay. And this, I don't know. Do I have to go through each one? Well, this is where I want to get that publishers dot combine latest. How about an array? Oh man. Let's take that and then go look at it. Look at publishers. What has it got? I don't have a good reference on combine. Rather than, we see the most recent element from multiple, rather than tuples, use merge with. Each of its, oh, we don't want that, for sure. This pipeline, there it is. Okay, pipeline is not going to be doing that. Okay, so I'm going to run through. Have I got too many of these? Yeah. Too few, I guess. Okay, that's the sources. Let's try that. See if we can get the sources working. No. Well, that makes me skeptical of the rest for sure. I don't know how to debug this. Okay, why the square? I know I saw that transition flicker through. Okay, I'm going to carry it through. We may be reverting quite a bit here in a minute. I mean, this is ridiculous. And syncs. Okay, got to see something happen here. So theoretically, sources should print something here. Notified 3 times. Okay. Now what was odd? Okay, it's unfortunate it doesn't tell me who notified. Self.output. Wonder what the type of stage is. Yeah. Okay, well, that didn't tell us anything. I guess it told us we are notified of changes. Let's clear that. Let me undo that. Okay. No notifications yet. If I click this, I should see something happen. See, it did transition. I got 1 notified. Okay, so the input, so the file input stage must have changed either path or input, or input or errors, or is active. Now, okay, with our select one, right? So if selected is new value return, that shouldn't change anything. Okay, now we got one. Let's select manual input. We got 3 more. I suspect that's 1, 2, and I'm not sure what the third one is. But they're out there doing it. So the stage, sorry, let's see, stage is active is published. So a change in it should cause the notify, which we believe is what's happening. And then, are we not notifying? I mean, we're saying notify any listeners. All right, let's get back up here. Let's look at publisher, any change of publisher. Okay. Cannot find publisher in scope. Oh, pipeline. Ugh. Settings changed, not changed. Pipeline. Huh. Let's do pipeline.sources, I guess. I'm not sure what the deal is. Just gotta type empty. Settings changed. Changed it to Boolean. Well, what's the difference here? Is that gonna work? Why is that type expected to be? Okay, let's take this out. On change of something. Call thing. Okay, where's the bottom? On change of something, do something. Type E. Okay, let's do. That's what we had before. Is on change doesn't return us a view? Return some view. Nothing can publish source to argument type. Nothing. Why is that okay and this is not? Okay, I'm gonna put something in pipeline. Okay, and I'm going to flip that. Okay, because I believe that will force this to change. Okay. Immutable value self. Pipeline. Okay. This has not been helpful. Let's take this out. Okay. So that is forcing that. And then up here, let's look at changed. Boolean value, just like the other one. What? What settings changed? Say state object. What the heck? Oh, did I make it published? Var changed equals false. Published var changed equals false. I don't even worry about that for now. Okay. I guess I got to do that on all these. Okay. We know we're getting notified. We know we're sending will change. Now we're forcing it to go through the pipeline method, pipeline field. Okay. And toggled state object var settings change pipeline. On change of pipeline.changed versus settings changed.changed. They have the same level declarations. Am I missing something? On change of field bracket. If $0, yeah, I don't care about if it changed or not. Pipeline.process. I don't get it. Okay, let's copy this just in case I've goofed anything up. Can I convert type value of type bool to expected increment type void? But we are okay with this one. What the heck? That succeeds. Pipeline that changed. Why is that good? Can I just not have two? Seems unlikely. Okay. Well, I want to see this. Whoa, where's the Boolean? What's this got to do with anything? $0. Oh. Grr. Okay, we're ignoring the value. Because I don't care what it changed from or to. I'm just flipping a bit to kind of get something moving. All right, now let's see this. This gives us some clue of what's coming through. Okay, zoop. And it did not trigger our whole pipeline changed. Okay. All right, well, it's been an hour. I'm not happy because I really want the flexibility to just add stuff to the pipeline and let everybody adjust to it view wise. And it seems like I can't even just hold it and manage. Nobody is marking pipeline changed. So, okay, well, let's go back to pipeline. Let's put this note back in. Self.change.toggle, object will change.send. Let's put our print in. Pipeline source changed. This is sync and transform. Okay, a little bit longer. Okay, when I click this, I think we're going to see the transition attempt to happen. I don't know why. I'm going to click this one instead. All right, so this one should turn this off and turn this on. I don't know why it notifies 3 times. 3 sources and a sync. Okay, but that's great, but it apparently did not send this to here. because pipeline changed. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's put that value in there. After the title, I'm going to put that pipeline dot changed. Let's put it in text. Okay, just to make sure. Maybe it was up. Nope. Perhaps it got optimized away, and so it never really wanted to see it. I don't know. False. 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 Never changes. Huh. Why sinks and sources? Like, why is a source changing? That confuses me. But filter. Okay, let's clear this. Filter, transform source and sync. But we got a problem here, right? I mean, why? I'm clearly toggling this. Let's print that. Changed. Perhaps it's not toggling. I don't care about the warning. Okay, got nothing going on. Hit manual input. Source. Oh man. It changed it to true. True, false, true, true. I don't get it. So clearly it's changing the value. Let's do this. Boolean.random. Okay. So I'm worried that these things, because they're flipping, I don't know, like you'd think it was called 4 times, it would flip 4 times. True, false, true, true. I don't get it. I would have thought this one would be false, and maybe it was, but random means at some point it should change if this is really monitoring the pipelines version. Okay. I'm clutching at straws, as they say. All right, so it's false. Let's try and change. I didn't see any changes. I didn't see any changes. I'm not seeing a blink even, so I don't think it's updating. Like, what is preventing that? I mean, it's a properly published variable in an observable object. That observable object is marked, well, it's state object, so it's owned by this content view. And it's variable there. The weird thing to me is that we're getting these corner changes, right? That sort of implies something is changing somewhere. False, false, true, true. Just randomly, like somehow between these, we ought to get something different on that Boolean. Okay. I'm coming to the conclusion that given the current state of my knowledge, I cannot make this pipeline work the way I want. More's the pity. All right, let's revert. Well, I don't really need to revert to do, but everything else must go. Anything else? Okay. I don't want to do that. Well, let's revert the code, and then we'll revert the class, the project. Just the to-do, that's what we want. Okay, well, that was a bust. All right, not our first by any stretch. This pipeline versus view thing has been my nemesis in this project. I'm hoping for a breakthrough. I mean, I'm getting some progress. All right, next thing I want to do, let's see. Eliminate individual stage objects. Okay, we tried and failed. That's today. All right, improve the view structure. Well, I think we want to do this. Should selector view track the index? Track the index. I think I want to make pipeline own the select one constraints, if I can say it that way. I'm not quite sure how we're doing it. Let's look at this. Okay, I mean, we say select, right? No? Oh, we assign selection. Okay. We're going to have some challenge here. Okay. Well, tell you what, let's take a break before we get into that. So, 3 or 4 minute break, and we'll come back and see what we can do to make the pipeline own the selection. And I think we'll do it for source first and see if we can make this work out. All right. What I'm hoping to do is get rid of this is active stuff and make the mere presence in the pipeline be the thing that tells you. So this thing, stages, I want this to become the active stages. Let's rename that. Okay. So it really is now, but it's filtering them out. I'd like it to just keep track and know which thing is active or not. All right. So 3 or 4 minute break, and we'll come back and have some fun with that. All right, welcome back. Okay, so I think, well, the behavior now is the selection is set in, let's see, it should be, I think if we start from context view, it's that pipeline selectors. Okay, the icon knows the constraint and tells it, sets it, and then when it changes, when it taps, it tells the constraint to select this stage. Okay, so what am I proposing instead? I guess I'm saying the pipeline should be the one to do it. Okay, so I'm going to pass in the pipeline. I'm going to get both working at the same time, and then I don't know. We'll see what we can do. It's yeah, let's do that. So the pipeline is going to have to come into icon, which, well, unfortunately, I guess it's going to need to know that. I mean, we're going to ask that pipeline, what's the active stage? Or is this stage active? I guess. Right. So pipeline selectors, does it know the pipeline? Okay, yes. Boy, this pipeline gets around. You know, I'm going to push that into the environment, I think, if I can. This does not. Well, I probably can push it in whole body. Okay, let's go here. On change of settings changed. Let's environment object pipeline. All right, by analogy to this. All right, and what that does is it pushes it into kind of the general namespace, and then anybody who wants to, regardless of how far down they are, can just ask for it with environment object. So let's modify pipeline selectors. Let's make this environment object pipeline. And then we don't need to assign it anymore. Okay. And we're passing it for the moment, but we're ignoring it. Let's make sure tests run. Make sure the real thing runs, and then we'll take it out. Okay. Nice to see it all working again. Notice I don't see a flicker. Well, do I? It does flicker when it's migrating the one out. It's not the sliding, is it? Maybe it is. I guess it is. That there is the new one sliding in, which on its right side is square. No, it's not. Oh, the body is square, so you got to take a vertical slice, and that's what you're seeing until it goes round. no way around that, I don't think. And actually, I think the illusion is pretty good. Notice they're different heights, and it still looks pretty good. Oh, these aren't curved, so you can't really tell anything with them. Yeah, interesting. Okay. This is subtleties. All right, but in any case, this is swapping things out and in. It's fine. Let's take out this argument. Now we don't have to pass it down. Okay, so pipeline selectors was called here and no longer needs the pipeline. All right, so we're just pushing that object out there for anybody that needs it. All right, and now, okay, I think we're going to make a pipeline test. All right, so active sources. Do we have a test for this? If we do, we might not need it. We do. Okay. Knows its active stages. All right. Let's make our test a little more. Let's do source 1, source 2. And this should be source 1. Inactive. Source 1, 2, both in there. Test source. Let's see how it starts. Is active true. Okay, so let's flip the source 1 off. Okay, so source 1 dot is active is false. Okay, so now we should be getting source 2 as our active one. All right, this test should pass. Okay, and then I want to select. Select, and I want to pass in, let's do a source first. A source, and we're going to do something. Okay. So now, all right, I guess I'm jumping ahead. Let's make another test. Right, this one gets source 2 because source 1 was inactive. I want to then select source 1 and make sure it's part of the active list. Okay, so selecting source makes it active and other sources inactive. I keep thinking I want to do this in a way that makes it compatible with the transforms and the sources, but let's not get crazy. Okay, let's make this clear what's going on. This one is active. This one is not. Okay. And we don't need any transforms, and we just need one sync. Okay. Stages is active stages. Okay, so we want to first do pipeline dot select source 2. Okay, and then we should get source 2 out as the active source. Okay, this should fail. Now, I'm not setting the isActive flag on this. I don't know if I should. Okay, we got source 1 because we haven't, select doesn't do anything. Okay, let's push these over here. I think we'll keep select 1 for the moment. All right, and close to the right. Okay, so I think we want to say there is an active private, well, I think it is private, var. Active source is of type source. Okay. Well, that makes me want to have another test. Okay. Right. Let's do self.active source equals let's do sources.last for the moment. Sources.last, and there must be one. Okay. Now select okay, that should all be the same from a testing point of view. We haven't changed active stages. All right. Okay, same failure. Still source 1, source sync. Okay, so now let's make this, instead of sources.filter, let's just start with result equals active source. Okay, because that's the only active source. Oh, shoot. I guess I'm going to have to keep the type here a moment. Okay. Now I expect that test to pass. And I expect it to pass for the wrong reason. Well, no, I expect it to pass for a somewhat right reason. All right. What are you babbling about? Okay, how did I lose all those? Okay, I don't need that. That last is funny. Okay, so I think I want to say creating pipeline selects first source as active. And I believe that's what we really want to be happening. Okay, so and I think this is a test we're going to be revising once we start deleting the isActive flag, but we're not there. Okay, I'm going to start it all false. Right, let's do that. So we're pushing in 2 inactive sources, And I want source 1 to be the active stage. Okay, so it should be source 1. So stages, I'm trying to get this a little easier to read. Stages is pipeline.active stages. If I take active stages sub 0 dot name, I expect that to be source 1. If that's what I called it, yes. Okay, and I don't need the maps anymore. I don't need expected anymore. Okay. Yeah. All right. So it starts out inactive. I gave it 2, but in my code I said take the last, so it's probably treating source 2 as the active one, and I expect it to fail with source 2 as the actual answer. Source 2 is not source 1. Good. All right. And let's do this. Pipeline active source equals first. Goink. What's the matter? Did I break my other test? I did. Okay. Source 1, source 2. Well, that's a little funny. Okay, so we got source 1 is active false. What are we asserting? Well, what are we getting? Source 1 instead of source 2. All right, so okay, this one knows its active stages. Well, in fact, source 1 is the active stage. I don't know why this should matter. Well, there we wanted to let source 2 be active. This should never have 2 sources active. Okay, it does not. All right. I think let's take this out. I think we have changed the result of this test regardless. It's going to be source 1 no matter what, because we have not done any selecting, and that's the only way to change it. Okay, so this test may go away as we test these individual things. How about new pipeline selects for sources active? Okay. I think that covers this case. We don't talk about transforms. So the nice thing is it knows it's transforms. But, okay. I think, yeah, that test should probably evolve. But I think we'll make it pass for now. Okay, so we've made pipeline knows which source is selected. Right, so the problem we have now is we have 2 mechanisms and we're not keeping them synced up. All right, so let's go back to ContentView. And actually it was icon. Right. Okay. Yeah. Now we need icon to know pipeline. Okay. And when let's make pipeline. What if do we want to know? The problem is I don't know if it's a source or what here. Oh, but I do know that. Okay, because stage knows. All right, so how about if stage is stage dot stage type is source, then we're going to do pipeline dot select stage. This code can go in the pipeline. Okay, let's do that. Let's put it in the pipeline and make this stage. Okay, and all we handle is active source. So if stage dot stage type is source, then do it. Thank you. All right. Okay, that's the only one we know how to really do. Do I have to? That's too bad. But we can get rid of that. Let's make this stage. Okay. Test should still pass. Cannot convert observable stage to argument type source. Did you get rid of that? Okay. Good. All right. So now this should run. And okay, so it's got file input first as the stage. We should get this one. Oh dear. That should never happen. What if we put it back? Can we get it back? Okay, if we select, wait a minute. Constraint.selection equals stage. I think our let's stop here. Okay. And we'll continue from this one. But this one is broken. All right. Let's print pipeline dot active Print pipeline. Oop. I want to see what the active source is. Active source is this thing. Okay, let's make that name visible so we can debug it. I don't think it really... We'll turn it back. I don't think this is something you would normally need to know. Okay, so I selected the other. Let's look at pipeline. Active source dot name. Should be file input. Oh, we selected it. Okay, it should, yes, it should be manual input by now. All right, let's print constraint. File input is active. It'd be nice if you just told me. File input and manual input. Okay, and this is sub 1. What's that array called? Well, what's constraint dot. Can you tell me values? File input. Okay, I guess that's right because we haven't stepped over it yet. Okay. So let's step in. And I guess we'll keep going. Okay. So let's see selected. Are we not there yet? Okay, current selection is file input. Print new value dot name. Manual input. Okay, selected id equals new value id seems unlikely. We'll step over. Okay, selected dot is active, so file input becomes inactive. New value, manual input becomes active, and selected equals new value. That all looks good to me. Okay, let's print pipeline dot active source dot name. Should be manual input. Okay, now. Oh, we haven't set settings changed yet. Okay. Settings changes are kind of global factor here that when you change which ones are active, you need to let this know, and then we had that on change. When it changes, run the pipeline again because it changed, and then flip it off. But pipeline, all that should force Well, should it? It has till now, right? It forced the thing to redraw with the new pipeline selectors. Let's go to pipeline selectors. I mean, it depends on pipeline. So if pipeline changes, pipeline.sources, well, this one doesn't change. Well, it does slightly. Let's see what we're at here. Okay, let's just continue. So this side is changing. It's selected manual input, but the drawing of it is not. Did we set active source? Let's make sure the pipeline looks right. Okay, we started with an initialized. When you selected it, if the stage type is source, which that should have been, that should have activated. That should have changed active stages. So maybe somebody's not realizing that active stages has changed, which in a way, like these, it's observable, but nobody does anything. Maybe that's my problem, is I haven't published it. Okay, because I need to be able to tell people, hey, this object changed, so you should be changing. Okay, let's make sure that's not all it is. No, it's not. Okay. I truly hate dealing with these issues. I don't have any visibility. Now maybe there's a view debugger. Do I? Capture view hierarchy, show view frames. What does that do? Okay, can I inspect this? What does all this do? Wireframe and contents. No. Right, so I can see the layers. But I don't see anything that tells me. What are you? How do I know? Okay, I got the hierarchy over here. Woof. Theme frame. Okay, I guess I do care about it. Hosting view controller. Okay, we don't want the title view, I guess. Modified content. That's that. I don't care about that. I don't care about the Z-stack per se. I don't care about those guys. I do care about the content. This stack. Possibly this one. The scroll view. I'm not sure who's in that. Stack center. Okay. I'm not seeing anything helpful. Show the view frames. It doesn't. Alignment rectangles view drawing. Responsive scrolling. Environment overrides. Rendering. Appearance. Well, I mean, that's interesting enough, but I don't think. Okay. I don't know what that is. Okay. Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure what I want to get from all this, but I really would like to know. Okay, let's stop. All right, let's find our whole body. Whole body. It's the pipeline selectors and the pipeline body. We want pipeline body. Pipeline. This. Okay, for each pipeline active stages. Yeah, what I want to know is when this gets redrawn. I don't think I can. I don't know. Maybe I can break there. Let's run. I don't care about the first one. I don't know if I'm going to do this all day. All right. Now, that should put me back there. Pipeline body. Okay, let's step over. What does it mean to step over here? Okay. How would it know? I don't think I can make that published. I don't think it makes sense per se. Because you can't tell it's changed until you... I don't think it makes sense to say published on this. Yeah. Can't apply a property or to a computed property. Right. I don't think I should be able to even. All right. But what counts is it depends on active source, and that's marked change. So if I call select and I change active source, which I think we're doing, that should mark this thing as changed. Notify the listeners like, hey, this action is going to change. You're going to have to redraw. Let's make sure this is going in here. I think we've already checked it, but just to make sure. I mean, I maybe have messed up something there. All right, I'm taking this one off. And continue. Okay, we select manual input. Active source. Okay, let's print active source dot name. And we'll step over. Whoops, continued. Okay, let's continue. All right, we look like we're back where we were. If I select manual input, active source dot name should be file input. And if I step over, active source should be manual input. Now, I really want to trace these notifications. Okay, so active source, because it's published, it should be telling any observable object like, hey, pipeline changed. Now, I did notice that we didn't mark it observed. Where's whole body? Why that would work in our old way and not our new is a puzzle. Oh, pipeline body. Okay. This should have been marked observed object. Maybe it didn't matter because before we never notified on pipeline. We always relied on that settings changed. Okay, let's try it. I want to switch it to environment object anyway because we're using that. Oh dear. It's like it's not fully drawing from the pipeline still, and it does on the first time. Okay, let's break here. This is my theory is this is not being called. So let's run it. This should be called, yeah, it's called the first time to set it up. All right, it's there. Now if I select this, it should be recalled, called again. What? Okay. Print active source dot name. File input. Why? Okay, let's continue. Okay. Continue. Huh. What? It's set there. We can see it. It's visible on the pipeline screen, so it obviously is set. Let's change this to last and see what happens. I don't know. There may be some conflict between select one and the pipeline, but I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to continue. Huh. Wow. How does that even happen? Wait a minute. Okay, let's run again. And break here as well. All right, so we're at active source. Let's look at it. Active source.name. Manual input. Okay, the result should contain that. Okay. Result dot map 0.name. Manual input in Parsons code. Who's calling active stages? Okay, pipeline body.getter. Yeah, that should be calling it. If stage is active, is that correct now? I don't think it is. We know it's active. Okay, let's try again. Remember, I've still spiked in that last to see if I can force the wrong one active. Okay, and let's continue. Hey, okay. That's progress. All right, I think it's partly... I think it's a bit of interaction between select one when it initializes. Okay, but all right. Let's see if we can run cleanly. Let's take these breakpoints out. Okay. Manual input. Not happening. Okay, filter happens. Quantize happens. This happens. Manual input is not being shown. Oh, it's so close. I don't know if I can force a redraw somehow. See, this is contradicting this and this. All right, I just don't know if I should push beyond the constraints. Oh, okay. This part seems right. I mean, it's so small. It's like, okay, makes sense. This is drawing the whole pipeline. We still pass it. It's observed. And it's just drawing each stage that's in the pipeline, active stages. All right. I don't think that's the issue. Okay, now the thing I'm more suspicious of, like, I think we can stop selecting one if the stage is the wrong type. So let's get to icon. Okay, let's say if stage type is sync, then we're going to do this one. Okay. So we're only doing it on syncs. All right. Now the is active thing is probably going to be messed up because he's asking stage is active. Should he ask the pipeline? Or maybe our pipeline, Okay, so this says deactivate the current one and activate the new one. And that's the way this one is. Okay, let's run. So I think, oh, something's going on. How is that not? It's like an update problem again. If we run the pipeline, let's take this one. That turns that off, but that does not turn that off. Okay, I think manual input is selected. If I run the pipeline, it says manually edited. If I do this, it says no file yet. So it's got the right thing in the pipeline when it does it, but it's not displaying it right. Oh, man. I don't want to throw this away. I feel like it's so close. But we've been fiddling for a while now. This... I could ask the pipeline, is the stage active? Would that help? Okay, I need to know here, here, here. Okay, that's all. I should probably pull that out somewhere, but let's Portal icon stage is active. Is active here. That controls the drawing of the button, radio button. Okay, there's that. All right, let's go back. I'm going to provide an is active method here. And the easiest way to do this is just stage.isActive. We don't need the keyword return here. All right. I don't think this will put us any worse. It shouldn't change anything. Oh, no one's calling it, so yeah, nothing changes. Icon, which is probably not the right name. Property is accessed. Okay. Yes. Oh, this should return Boolean. Okay, and let's call it an icon. Stage is active is now a pipeline dot is active stage. Okay. And same thing here. that's transformation. It shouldn't matter for this. Okay. How is that possible now? Okay. Let's change this. If stage type is source, then it's active if stage equals active source. And this will return is active. Okay, so only sources will look at the is active body. Okay, they got the same aids. They were the same. All right. Oh, why are you not redrawing? You're fine. You're fine. You are not. So we know it's this stuff is messing it up. Oh. Okay. Stage. I'm not sure what to do. I would have thought... I don't think it's going to help to change it to an environment object. How would it know active stage has changed, right? It should know because active source changed, then if the active source changes, then the stage is definitely changed. Okay, so the thing is, as far as we can tell, it's got the right selection. Let's view the report and see if it asks for manual input. Oh. Yeah, so it thinks the input is manual. If I select this again, it thinks it's a file. Select it again, it thinks it's manual. Well, any suggestions? Because I'm at a loss. I mean, I guess what is it saying? Well, it seems to be a redraw issue, not a content issue, because the pipeline seems to have the right stuff in it. It's getting the right active source, depending what we clicked. So the click action is running, but it's not recognizing that the selection changed. Even though, and which I don't necessarily think should be needed, but this sets it to true when any constraint, one way or the other, regardless of how you're doing it. Now what's funny, well, the right one seems to be active. That's the part that's getting me. The stage, if I set this, suppose I do this still. if I take this out, let's make sure. Maybe there's still some vestige of constraint selection controlling the icons. Okay. I hit it twice, manually edit it. Hit it once, hit it twice, input file. Okay, so it's not that constraint thing. I think it's a pure redraw issue. Okay, so you do pipeline select. I would think select our type is source. It changes active source. It changes the flag, so we know that's set. Source return state ID. I mean, okay. Can I set a monitor on this? Okay. Oh, huh. Okay. I do Swift UI comics. I've got one coming out this week. Obviously, I need to spend some time working on this class one, though, because something is freaky here. But I think this week we're probably talking about user, let's see, environment object, which we just used to get that variable down there without having to pass it through every level. Jeepers. So my problem is Swift UI view doesn't update when observable object changes. All right. I've been to this question before. I put the observed object being updated on the main thread. Could I have messed that up? Okay. I have not done this thing that they say to do at main actor. That your observable object should do this to say, like, I really want to be run on the main thread and only the main thread. All right. And let's put that on stage as well. I need to get that into my code examples too, but I want to open stage. And you can put it on a class or a method or a variable, I think. Isolated property, main actor isolated property id. I sure don't know what that means. Non-isolated property protocol. I didn't have a protocol involved. Right, they're putting on the variable instead. Protocol identifiable. Let's take it off stage. Okay, I'm going to take it off here. We care about published pipeline right now. Let's make sure pipeline's acting right. But I don't know. View, I get manual input. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think it was a problem, but we did. Okay. View not updating. Okay, they have to be identifiable. Served object, yes. Where's the identifiable? Number line. Number item. I don't see any identifiable in here. Constructor requires iterating elements be identifiable. Oh, id, number in, number visible. Okay. They do have an id. Okay. Do I do that for my for each? That's pipeline body. I do not. Oh my gosh. And I put ids on them so they would be able to do this. I thought if they're identifiable, it might default to that. So maybe that's not the issue, but at published to the property. Yeah, that's nothing to do with it. Filter number visible, ID self. Yeah. Yeah, that's different. Okay. Well, so it doesn't support nested observables. Yeah, we kind of went through that. Use observed object to manage state from external objects. Okay. My problem is all these examples I see with arrays, they all love to use like constant arrays of strings. And I think the issue is I don't have a constant array. I don't think this is going to help. Okay, well, that's something. All right, he's got structs here for these. Observed object order. Oh, wait, that's the view. Okay, array of strings. Orders published, so we'll send any change announcements when items changes. Without observed object, the changes would be sent but ignored. Right. Okay, so we got to make sure we aren't ignoring any. Okay, but we have two problems, right? This is not being updated. I'm clicking manual input, and we think it's changed, but it's not being updated. Okay, so let's go back to ContentView. I have the pipeline being passed as an environment object. So passed to all the children. Pipeline is a... No, it is not a state object. Maybe that's the problem. Okay. I don't think I had to pass it in that way, though. That's the problem. Okay, can we mark? Let's... Okay, so that at least tells us if we're seeing it. Oh, man. What did we do over here? Oh, yeah, blank in. Okay, so this should tell us at the top level, anytime we detected pipeline.ActiveSource changing. Change conform to equatable. And change of perform. Stage to... Can that be? Can that be the problem? Let's stage. Well, let's do an extension. All right, come in. Thank you. So why this might be a problem is if it compares stage, it tries to compare, it only wants to compare things it knows how to compare. So if it doesn't recognize it, maybe, I don't know. This is, let's see, where's this thing again? All right, this should be legal now. So it didn't know how to decide if active source had changed or not. It had a value and another value and no idea how to compare them. Seems like I should have got a warning somewhere about that, though. But okay, let's run. No. Okay. All right. Did I get any prints? I did not. But if I run this, I see manual input. So it must have changed. Okay, well, that's a clue for us for tomorrow. I will revert if we don't make any progress within a reasonable amount of time tomorrow, maybe an hour-ish. As far as I can tell, we have the pipeline updating correctly when isActive changes. And as far as I can tell, the pipeline should base the column on the left should base itself on that pipeline. I mean, it's running through the pipeline to get all these values, and it's asking, are you active, through the pipeline, which theoretically can answer that. Okay. Well, our official time is up. I'm going to keep going a few minutes here because I just have to. I have not tested this is active properly. I'm going to add those tests and call it a wrap for the day. Okay, so let's pipeline. I mean, I guess I can make these as main actor if that'll help. Okay. Why they didn't complain before, that seems odd, but okay. Right, let's add this test. Test pipeline knows whether stage is active. Okay, so we'll take the same deal. Okay, so this sync, and let's put one transform in. I can answer them all at once. Okay. Do I need to select anything? Let's select source 2. Okay. And I should be able to say, I don't need this. I just want to say xct assert equal, maybe it's just assert true. Pipeline dot active of source 1. Well, let's get them all in there first, then we'll straighten out the answers. Okay, I think in this case, source 1 is active. We have to make this one be active. Oh, they are by default, right? Okay, so let's, excuse me, let that go. All right, source 1 is active. This should be false. Source 2 active, yes. Transform 1 active, yes. And sync. Okay. And I believe this should pass. Excuse me. Okay, let's make sure everything else is green. All right. Well, we'll stop there. Next time is tomorrow, Thursday, 1 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. Thanks for joining and have a good evening. Take care.